Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I am going to share with you a new mini album. Now this was what I made as the prototype for one that I made using the Honeybee collection. So it's a little more simple in the design. What I had used was some paper called Spring Neutrals from Recollections that I've had in my stash for a little bit. It came from Michaels. Didn't have any cut aparts, which is why the cover is a little on the plain side. But I thought this is okay. You could still add a photo to the front and just work it from there. So I also have several videos in this series. One is how to construct the mini album. One is how to decorate it. There is a decorating video using this paper, like the matting and measurements and all of that. There's also a video showing you how I decorated using the Honeybee collection. I suggest you look at this video, this walkthrough, and then the Honeybee walkthrough and decide which style you like best. So there also is a file in my coffee shop showing you the measurements on constructing the mini album and the measurements on decorating it using the method I use with the Honeybee. I don't have the written measurements on decorating and matting it with this paper collection, but I do give it in that matting video. So without any further ado, let me take you inside and show you what we have. So it is a 6.5 by 8.5 by 2, is it 2? 2.5 mini album. It's got 6 pages, so front and back, that's 12. But I also utilize the front and back cover for some extra elements. So for instance, this is part of the cover. Gives you a lot of room to put some larger photos and room to journal if you wanted to. So that closes like that. And then here is the front inside cover. I left it sort of plain. The paper was sort of crazy. It's pretty wild. So I left a lot of it plain because the paper did a lot of the talking. So now here inside the front of page 1, we've got just a little flap, room there for some photos and some journaling. There is this little flap with a pocket that has just a plain paper. I used some plain paper from my stash to help decorate it. I do have a photo mat, and again, there were no cut aparts with this collection, so I used what was available to me with the paper. Now here I did use some of the extra paper to make the hidden photo mats, and you'll notice these are just rounded on the corners. When I did the Honeybee album, I used a tab punch and the tab punch board to make those hidden pocket pages. So again, check that out so you can see the difference. So this comes off. It's got 2 magnets on it, and this will open like that, giving you, of course, some more room for photos. You could add a little photo to that if you wanted to, and a photo to here, and then that flaps like that. But it also opens up. How does it open up? It opens like this and like that. There are magnets holding it down, so yeah, so it goes like that and then like that, and there's lots of room for photos on that little flap. There's our hidden pocket page. I also was exploring different ways of closing things instead of just using magnets. So in this instance, I have 2 high eyelets with some twine holding this belly band together, and that'll open like that, and then that comes down like that, and that comes up like that. And this you actually could put a pretty large photo. This is 5 inches, so you could put a 5 by 7 photo. So you could put 4 5 by 7 photos just on those flaps plus on the page. So like I say, there's a lot of room for photos. I don't think, I haven't counted how many. So this will tie like this and like that. And that again was a different way of making a closure. And then I've used swivel tabs in the past. In this case, I added a teeny little magnet here because once you get pictures, the page becomes a little bulkier, which is good. But until then, sometimes these swing tabs don't stay closed. So by adding a little magnet there, it hooks on with the metal in the magnet and keeps it closed. So that'll open like that, and that'll open like that. And again, room for a 5x7 photo if you want, but of course you can put 4x6s or even smaller. And this will close like that. And you see I did start to do a little bit of detailing on this. The Honeybee collection has that mini album has a lot of detailing on the pages. It was such a pretty collection. This is pretty too, but that was different. I utilized some of those pages that you get in some of the 12x12 pads. This was a whole page of that, and that just opens like that and like that. This one does have a magnet. Now here I've got a large pocket on the bottom with several photo mats. I utilized, there was a page of border strips, and I did utilize some of those to decorate the pages like that. Isn't that pretty? And then here's our hidden photo mat. This next page has two side, not pockets, although I could have made them pockets, but two side flaps, so you could put some small photos there and a large photo there. Here is just a photo mat here. This actually is open at the top, so you could put a photo in there. But this page will open like this. There are several sheets here where you could add your photos. So it looks like a pocket, but it's a lot more than just a pocket. And there is our hidden pocket page. This is just a side-loading pocket. This was a border strip. I just thought that was really pretty. I know it's really busy paper, so that's why I put this, the plain cardstock. I picked this paper up from Michaels maybe 6 months ago, maybe longer. And I also picked up some pink paper that matched with it nicely. Here's another place where I used that border strip. Used a couple others, but a different kind of closure here. I have an eyelet there and a circle with a brad there, and that's just a way of keeping that closed. Here you can see I used some of I kept it plain on the back, but some of the border strips. So again, it just swings around here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And go around a couple of times. And that's how to close that. Here's our hidden pocket page. It looks like it's just plain gray, but it's got a little texture to it, sort of like leather. And then this page, I've got this photo mat in the pocket to keep this flap closed. This will open like that, and that'll go down like that. And it also gives you more room for photos there. But again, there's this little pocket, so we can put that in and keep everything closed. And then I took one of these sort of squares with the flowers, cut it out, put it on cardstock, and made that for a closure. And that'll open like that. And there is a photo mat inside this pocket. And I was able to use one whole paper collection, and I used most of it up. I really had very minimal amount of scraps after I was done with it. There. I don't know why I have such a hard time with those today. It's cold out. My fingers are cold. Here's the back cover. I used one of the border strips to separate these two pattern papers. There is our spine, and here we are back to the cover. So as I said, there is a tutorial to make this album. There is a cutting guide in my coffee shop. There is a video showing you how I matted and decorated this album. And there is a video showing you how I matted and decorated the one using the Honeybee collection. And there's a walkthrough of the Honeybee collection. In fact, I'll put this all on a playlist just to make it easy. So I'll link that playlist below and just go to that. And that's got all the videos that I'm talking about there, plus the link to the coffee shop. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of a new mini album I constructed using the spring neutral papers from Recollections. Thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and that shows that this is what people want to see. Thank you for watching. Have a fabulous day.